do not attempt the new emblem battle event in Pokemon Pocket until you've watched this. Because I'm going to share with you the top 5 decks in the meta right now that are going to help you dominate in battles and give you the best chance at getting that gold emblem. Hi everyone, I'm Tiger, and I'm a huge fan of Pokemon Pocket TCG. I love this game, it's so much fun. I've opened way too many Pokemon packs, and I can tell you this, if you're not running one of the decks that I'm going to be showing to you, this event is going to be hard, and you're going to be conceding a lot. But I don't want you to concede a lot. I want you to win. So that's why I'm making this video, to maybe help somebody out there who may not know what deck to run, who may not know, what to do. So let's talk about this event first. In the app, you can find out about the event. Go up here to the news, click on that, and you can see it's the Genetic Apex Emblem event number 1. And you can kind of scroll through here and see what it's all about. For this current event, you have to get consecutive wins in order to qualify to get these emblems. Starting at 2 wins, you get a participation emblem. Yay, let's go, participating. But nobody wants that, come on. I'm just kidding, it looks nice. Then you have 3, you get the bronze emblem. 4, you get the silver emblem. And then 5 is the gold emblem that everybody's gonna wanna have. So what are the best decks that are going to give you a chance to get that gold emblem so you can flex? So you might be wondering, how does Tiger know what the best decks are? How does he know what decks are going to give me the best chance of getting gold? The truth is, I Googled it. I took a look at some sites and I found one that I really like. Now, I'm not affiliated with this website. Now, the first one that I found is called PokemonZone.com, and this is actually pretty good. If you see here, there's the top tier decks. And we're going to go through each one. We've got Pikachu and Mewtwo up here at the top. It says strongest overall. And then the high tier decks are going to be Charizard, Starmie, and Articuno. You can agree or disagree with how they rank these, but we're going to start things off with the Pikachu EX deck. If you've encountered Pikachu EX, you already know within just a few short turns, they're dealing 90 damage right out of the gate. It probably is the strongest deck. It's a crazy deck. We've got this Pikachu card that's attack does 30 damage for each of your bench electric Pokemon. So you got to make sure that in this deck you've got enough electric Pokemon to fill that up. One of the variants you'll see is the Zebstrika variant, and Zebstrika is cool because it can deal damage to any Pokemon as long as it's in the active spot. You can deal damage to any bench Pokemon, active Pokemon, which can be really, really useful if you need to just knock out one more Pokemon that you've already done damage to. Now this deck comes in a variety of variants, and you'll see a lot of different ones. I have my own, and I'll show you what my variant is. I don't use Pincurchin. I've seen that because you can get the paralyzed status, which can be really useful. You've got also the Raichu variant with the Pincurchin. There's a Lieutenant Surge variant, which I've used Magnemite and Magneton before. I kind of like that. I like that you can move energies around with Lieutenant Surge. The Electrode variant, I do like Electrode. Electrode comes out dealing 70 damage after 2 turns. That's pretty good. This is my Pikachu deck. It's called Electric Vibes, and it's very similar to the variants that I just showed you. The only difference, I think, is that I throw in the Zapdos, just the regular Zapdos, not the EX. Because sometimes when you have to switch in a Pokemon, it's nice to just have the regular one so they can't get 2 points. That's just really the main reason why I do that. But we do have the gold Pikachu in the deck. That's my only gold card that I have in this account. But here are the trainer cards that I have. I do have a Lieutenant Surge in there because one thing that I've noticed with these decks is the Raichu. The Raichu can be really sneaky, so that's something I would say consider adding to your electric deck, your Pikachu deck. You could throw all the energy on that Raichu and just deal insane amount of damage, and that could be GG's. That could be the difference between you winning and losing. Let's move on to the Mewtwo deck, and let me just say this. I hate this deck. I love it, but I hate it because when you encounter this deck and they get it all lined up in the beginning, when you get 2 Mewtwo's right out of the gate, you've got one in the active, one in the benched spot, and then you get the Gardevoir going right away. It's really hard to win when that happens. So when this deck gets lined up, it's pretty much GG's, it seems like. Let's take a look. We've got the Mewtwo EX. Typically you have 2 of those in there, and then you're going to be running Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir, and you'll have 2 of each of those. And that's really just the basic deck. That's all you really need, and you can deal insane damage. You could probably win the event if you have this, but there are some variants. I have seen the regular Mewtwo in there just to, give you some more variety. I run a Jinx in my Mewtwo deck. I have found that it's pretty OP to have Jinx in here. Let me know what you guys are running in your Mewtwo deck, but this deck, honestly, between the Pikachu, I kind of feel like the Mewtwo has a little bit more of an edge just because of the Gardevoir giving you energies all the time. it just makes it just ridiculous. So most people are not going to argue the Pikachu EX and the Mewtwo EX deck are probably the best decks in the meta right now, but I am a strong believer that the Articuno EX deck is pretty close to these, if not better. I run that one most of the time, and we'll talk about why. So let's take a look here. So the Articuno EX deck, the most basic one you can build. You can literally build this deck with just 2 Articuno EX and all trainers. And I've done this, but I only had 1 Articuno and all trainers. The first 2 battles that I did, the people conceded because I got lucky enough to flip Misty and, you know, it was GG's. But I haven't found that to be the best way to run this deck. You run into a lot of problems not having any other Pokemon. You can actually end up losing that way. If you don't pull one, you don't get the other Articuno EX. It makes it really hard if you don't get the Misties you need and things like that. Some of these other variants are the ones you're going to want to go with. So another variant of this deck is the Articuno EX with the Greninja line. You get the Froakie, Frogadier, and Greninja. Greninja can deal damage from the bench, which can be really, really good if you're going after like a Mewtwo or any of those other Pokemon that just deal incredible damage. You can start breaking them down before they get into the active spot. The only problem I've encountered with that is just getting Froakie, Frogadier, and Greninja all lined up. It takes a lot of turns, and sometimes that can end up being, you know, not so beneficial. So, which is why I don't run this most of the time. I end up running a Starmie EX variant of the Articuno EX. I call it Shurikuno. So let's take a look at that. I can say this from experience. On the last event that we had, I was able to get 45 wins relatively easy using this deck against Mewtwo, Pikachu even, which is its weakness, which can really tell you how strong a deck is. If you're able to win against its weakness, that's just crazy. The basic of it is you're going to have a Starmie, and then you're going to have the Articuno. You can have multiples of the Starmie and Staryu, but I actually only do 1. And then I have a basic Articuno, not EX, which is really nice because this Articuno can paralyze the opponent, which can be really good if you're up against like a Mewtwo or Dragonite, something like that. The only difference that I've seen, that I've tested, I've kind of used, is I use Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff in this deck. Now you might be wondering, why Jigglypuff, why Wigglytuff? I've just found that using this can be really, really good, and it's gotten even better since we got the promo card, the Jigglypuff that has Sing. This has literally changed the meta quite a bit because now you have a Pokemon that can come out and start putting people to sleep, which gives you a chance to get ahead, kind of. If they're not able to do anything, they're not dealing damage, they're not hurting your Pokemon at all, which gives you a chance to build up your Articuno, your Starmie, and then boom. So this Jigglypuff with Sing really gives you that edge because they have to flip and hopefully, you know, no longer be asleep, which can be really good for helping you get ahead and start building up your Articuno and Starmie in the back end in case Misty fails, which can happen quite often, as we know. Misty, what you doing, girl? I do something a little different. I only do 1 Jigglypuff, and I have the Evolve form in both variants, the regular and the EX. Why? Because I'm crazy like that. No, it's mostly just because I want to have the option to either have the EX or not, because that could make or break you winning or losing if they get 2 points. It just depends on what deck you're running against in the scenario, and here's the trainers that I have. So Misty, Giovanni. I've got 2 Giovannis because I like dealing extra damage whenever possible. This deck, in my opinion, if you want to win this event, you have to have a variant of this deck and try it, see how well you do. The next deck is the Starmie EX deck, which is going to be very, very similar to the Articuno EX deck. It's like the one we saw in the promo event for Lapras. The Staryu and the Starmie are just so annoying. They come off the bench and they're just dealing crazy damage, 90 damage. There's no retreat cost. Starmie EX is OP. Starmie EX is amazing. Any water type deck that doesn't have this in it, it just doesn't make sense. You gotta have Staryu and Starmie in it. Now, another variant of this is the Greninja, which is very similar to the Articuno deck. So if you don't have Articuno, you don't have Pikachu, you don't have Mewtwo, but you have Starmie, you can definitely win many, many matches with the Staryu. This is a really solid deck. You can run all different kinds of water Pokemon with this. If you're lucky enough to have 2 of the EX Starmies, if you don't save up those pack points so you can buy one, this deck is solid and you're going to be seeing this in the battles. Now, you might be saying, he saved Charizard for last because he's a Charizard fanboy and he loves Charizard. No, I don't. I do like Charizard, and Charmander is my favorite starter, but this deck is definitely one of the strongest, and it could also be considered one that would be top tier. I think the Charizard deck is absolutely insane, and I'm gonna show you why. Because if you've encountered Charizard EX and its full form, it's dealing 200 damage. 200 damage. That's just insane. You can't stand that. Not even Mewtwo's gone. They're all gone. You know, Charizard is reigning supreme when he's fully charged up. That's why this deck has the Moltres EX, because Charizard does lose 2 energy every time it uses that Crimson Storm, and you're gonna need something to kind of replenish the energy. So early on, whenever you're using this deck, you're gonna see Moltres at the top, just generating as much energy as possible to Charmander, Charmeleon, or Charizard, and then the chaos ensues. If you're able to get them lined up, this deck is gonna win every single time. But that's the problem, is it takes a little bit of time to get there. I've noticed it takes 10, 11, 12 turns just to be dealing like significant damage, which can be really, really tough if you're going up against Mewtwo or the Pikachu deck. There are other variants for that. I haven't really run this one, the Arcanine and Growlithe, but I can see how this can be really good. I don't like that it takes 2 turns to get this Growlithe going. That kind of can be a little bit of a difficult thing. And then we have the Rapidash variant. I honestly would not use this variant. I would probably do Vulpix and Ninetales. That's the variant that I would run. Absolutely, you're gonna see this deck, and it's gonna be hard to beat. So I just shared with you the top 5 decks in the game right now, but what about all these other decks that you're seeing and you're losing to? There are actually a lot of other really good decks. And in this website, they actually have the middle tier decks, which I'm gonna share with you one of them that I think that if you don't have like all these, you know, crazy cards, crazy rare cards, you might be able to get this one going, and actually you could win the event with this. It's the Arbok deck. Look how basic this is. You've got Ekans, Arbok, Coughing, and Weezing. That's it. There's no EX, there's no gold, there's no crazy flashy cards, but this deck can just be so annoying to play against, and it actually can do a lot of damage. We've got Arbok coming out after 2 turns, dealing 60 damage. Your opponent can't retreat. That's actually really, really OP. And then we have Coughing and Weezing, which you might think, well, Weezing only does 30 damage, but once during your turn, you can make their active Pokemon poisoned, which just starts dealing 10 damage every turn. And before you know it, that Mewtwo is gone. This is an absolutely incredible deck. You're gonna see this one in this event. You're gonna see people running this. If you don't have Charizard, you don't have Mewtwo, you don't have these cards, this is the deck that you want to run. Now, if you don't believe me about the Arbok Weezing deck, let me show you my variation of it. It's called Going Dark. And this deck is an absolute banger. This is a fun one to run. People have a tough time with it. Mine's a little bit different because you're gonna see I've added in the Wigglytuff and the Jigglypuff just for fun, just in case you run into your weakness. You have these here to kind of buff the deck up a little bit. And the Wigglytuff is dealing 80 damage and putting them to sleep, which honestly is just, it's annoying and it's hard to deal with, even for a Mewtwo. If you want to use this deck, use it. I think it's pretty solid. Let me know what you guys think. So I've shared with you a bunch of decks. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do with these decks. There's so many variations. I wanted to end this video with another website that I found. So this website is called Untapped GG. And like I said, I'm not affiliated with any of these. Now, if you don't know what decks to run, there's so many sites out there where you can find that will have sample decks for you to look at. I love looking at the names of these. Some of these decks that people have. We got Dragon Balls, Slap Ya Mama. We've got the Cubone Marowak deck. This is a solid deck. We've got Fighting Cats. Let's see what else. See something that's... Ooh, Immortal Kabutops. This could be really solid. Although the dual energies, I don't know what you guys think about the dual energies. I have a hard time running those. You just never get the energy you need. Wait a second, what's this deck? ¿Quién es Pikachu? No lo conozco. Let's translate that. Who is Pikachu? I don't know him. I think that's a Pikachu troll deck. Let's see if we can find anything else that's interesting. Ooh, this Blaine 5 wins. This could be interesting. We've got Vulpix, Ninetales, Ponyta, and Rapidash with the Blaine boosted damage. That could actually be pretty good against Mewtwo or any of those really overpowered Pokemon. So we looked at the top 5 decks in the Pokemon Pocket meta right now, and there's some insane decks that you can build. There's so many variations, and I want to know what you guys are running. Tell us your secrets down in the comments. Let us know what websites you found that have been helpful for you. I shared a few of my things here. I hope you guys found that useful. And if you have, please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this. I hope you guys are having fun playing Pokemon Pocket and battling, and I wish you the best luck on this event. Get those 5 wins. I hope that you can flex that gold emblem. Also, let me know in the comments what cards you're still searching for, what cards you just cannot hit Mine is the gold Mewtwo, and we're gonna get this thing. And we're gonna get the 5 wins in this event. But until next time, keep training, keep playing, and we'll see you later, alright? Peace.